Hey, good Tuesday morning, everyone. I wanted to do what I hope to be a relatively quick video update this morning on the potential for some strong thunderstorms, some severe weather here across eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania this afternoon and this evening. If you've been watching my videos, seeing me on TV yesterday and even late last week, I was pretty skeptical that we would see much in the way of nasty thunderstorm activity, and I'm still relatively skeptical this morning, and I'm going to show you why. Of course, if you've paid any attention to the weather over the last couple of days, you know there's been an enormous tornado outbreak down in parts of the south. Thankfully, this morning it's a little quieter, but unfortunately that quiet's not going to last much longer down in the south. They had deadly tornadoes, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama over the last couple of days. Right now, the threat has shifted a little farther south and east into Georgia and the panhandle of Florida. But actually, what we're going to be watching later today, as far as the highest risk overall of bad weather, is in many of the same places that got hit last night. This is where the moderate risk is this afternoon. Eastern Mississippi, western Alabama, boy, this is the same zone that had training supercells. In other words, supercell thunderstorms that kept going over the same areas over and over again. So bad situation down there. But you'll notice that the yellow area here, let me turn off the radar. The yellow area is our in Storm Prediction Center terminology, the slight risk of severe weather. I prefer low risk or enhanced risk because slight sounds like no big deal. And sometimes in slight risk areas, you can have some pretty bad thunderstorms. And if the roof gets blown off your barn, slight risk didn't really mean much to you. But anyway, off my soapbox, the slight risk has expanded to include the WFMJ viewing area now. Even though the Storm Prediction Center has done that, as I mentioned, I'm a little skeptical about the potential for severe weather. Surface map today, as I record this in the 9 o'clock hour. Here's our low pressure system out here. It's pretty much parked there. It's going to sit and spin for a day or two, not really moving much. We have our rain that we've had all night last night, moving through as we speak. I've had about 0.6 inches, almost 2/3 of an inch worth of rain since midnight at my house in Boardman, so pretty healthy rain event for the overnight. And I'm always a little skeptical of the potential for severe weather on the same day that you have a whole bunch of rain in the morning. Rain, tends to stabilize the atmosphere. It keeps the lower levels of the atmosphere rather cool, and air parcels have a hard time lifting high enough to produce nasty thunderstorms when you've had, a fair amount of rain during a several-hour period. Notice what is going on off to the west, though. The sun is coming out in Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, Lafayette, Evansville. This is the zone that the atmosphere is going to start destabilizing because of the sunshine that's working in. They're not seeing rain, they've got sun, and temperatures will start to warm up out there. These are 9 o'clock hour temperatures. It's in the 50s and 60s out where the sun is out. We're closer to 50 here in Youngstown. And as I bring up the dew point temperatures, kind of a measure of moisture in the air, here we have dew points in the upper 40s. Out to the west, the dew points are getting a little higher, closer to 60 in Cincinnati. In this zone where the dew points are starting to really come up is where I'm more concerned about some heavy, gusty thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon and evening. There's a higher moisture content in the atmosphere, and it's going to be more unstable because they're going to get more sunshine out there. So that's the zone I'm a little more concerned about rather than northeast Ohio and into western parts of Pennsylvania. So I'm going to take off all of the current information, and we're going to talk briefly about some of the factors that might go into the risk for severe weather this afternoon. First of all, the official outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, part of the National Weather Service out in Oklahoma. These are percentage chances of seeing certain things, and their forecast calls for a 15% chance in the yellow area here of seeing hail of 1 inch or larger in diameter, a 15% chance of seeing that within 25 miles of any location in the yellow area. So your house, your workplace, grandma's house in Columbus, whatever. Within 25 miles of any spot, you've got a 15% chance of seeing hail that's 1 inch in diameter or larger. Same story with the wind threat. It's about 15%. This would be the threat for a damaging wind gust, generally thought of when you talk about severe weather as 60 miles per hour or higher. 15% chance, generally within 25 miles of any location. Now notice the threat, right on the border here of right straddling the WFMJ viewing area here in eastern Ohio. So, we're kind of right on the border, and then the significant tornado, or just tornado threat, I should say, is not very high at all. In fact, we're not even in the 2% contour in Youngstown. We've got a 2% chance in this green area of a tornado within 25 miles of any one location in central and western Ohio. So that's the official Storm Prediction Center outlook for things. As we get into the afternoon, I'm going to show you here is something we call convective available potential energy, CAPE. And this is a measure of how unstable the atmosphere is, taking into account moisture content and the temperature profile of the atmosphere. You always, when you're looking for air parcels to keep rising, you want the air that the air is rising into to be colder. So a parcel or a bubble of air needs to be warmer than the surrounding air in order for it to keep rising. If it runs into colder air, it's going to stop rising, and your thunderstorm chances aren't real good. So as I play this forward, keep an eye on Ohio here. Here's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice the highest CAPE values are generally kind of in Detroit, Toledo, down to Columbus, kind of I-75, I-71. And here in Youngstown, late afternoon at about 4 o'clock, we get into a little bit of the blue there, but the CAPE values, the instability values are not super high at all. And we finished things up with this evening here at 7, 8 o'clock. Those higher values creep over towards Youngstown, but never quite get here. I just think that this rain-cooled air is going to keep us kind of socked in with a stable environment in the atmosphere, and that's is a good thing. We don't want big, nasty thunderstorms, damaging storms. Here's the simulated radar product. As we get into the afternoon, here's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Notice our steady rain is pushed away. We've been talking about this, how the steadiest rain today would be in the morning. Then the afternoon, everything would be much more scattered or hit or miss. And this plays out nicely on our future radar here. Here's 4 in the afternoon. Now what we're starting to see, if you look real carefully, is a couple of cells trying to pop up, but nothing real impressive looking on there. And then as we head towards sunset, here's 7 o'clock this evening. And notice that zone I was talking about that has the higher instability. They had sunshine for a little while longer. This is where the model's trying to pop up some pretty beefy looking storms. Nothing terribly organized, but these could be some discrete individual supercells. What I mean by discrete is not part of a big line. They're just kind of on their own. This could start to get going here late in the afternoon, early in the evening. But again, I don't think here. I think it's going to be in western Ohio and southeastern Michigan. So that's 7 o'clock, and then this finishes up with 8 o'clock this evening, right around sunset. Could be a stormy one, eastern Michigan, western Ohio. What I suspect is going to happen is this afternoon they're going to put out a severe thunderstorm or perhaps even a tornado watch kind of in this zone. It's going to look something like that is my 9 o'clock in the morning guess on how this is going to go. So bottom line I want you to take away from this, I'm not real impressed with the chance for severe weather here in the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. Could we have a thunderstorm? Sure. But, I just don't see the ingredients coming together for it to produce big hail, damaging winds, tornadic activity. Just doesn't look very likely. I'm going to include this video as part of a larger web post today. Sometimes people are at work and can't watch the video. So if you're more of a reader, we'll have some analysis on my weather blog this morning. In the meantime, Jess will have you updated on the midday report today on 21 News at 12 o'clock. See you.